Hello everyone, this is day 2 of our goal setting mastermind session. I am Patricia Jifamen Salakai, a communication and leadership coach. I'm also a member of Toastmasters International. I've been a member since 2010 and counting. And that is where I had a lot of my practical experience as a public speaker, trainer, coach, mentor, and facilitator. Before then, my professional background stems from the year 2000, where I worked as a flight attendant with the SWAL Ghana Airways. I was a flight attendant for 5 years until the airline collapsed and was liquidated. While I was working for the airline, because I knew my strength was in management, I was pursuing a course with the IATA, which is the International Air Transport Association, the body that governs and also sets some regulations when it comes to the aviation industry. And so I pursued a 3 years distant learning program with them, which earned me 4 certificates within the 3-year time frame, and I earned the diploma in aviation industry after I finished that course. Now, as part of those courses that I took was customer service, airline marketing. I also took station management. So assuming you were in charge of the ground handling operations, managing the day-to-day activities of ground staff, that was the course for it. So station management, and then I also did the introduction to the airline industry. And that summed up the 4 courses that, if done within the space of 3 years, could earn you the diploma. And I did that and got the diploma for the airline industry. I used that customer service certificate to move on to the finance industry, where I worked as a front desk executive for CDH, and that's the CDH Financial Holdings. Whilst there as a front desk executive, I also lent a hand to the back office team. I supported about 3 heads of departments managing their different units. And whenever we had national service personnel joining the team, I also helped with their onboarding and familiarization process. What did that do for me? It gave me the opportunity not just to learn from them, but also to share with them in terms of the different operational aspects, what each department does and what will be expected of them as they have joined us in that 1 year time frame as part of their national service. I'm telling you this just to give you an idea of how we learn and grow through our work experiences, and how we make our own unique skills, capabilities and competencies to show. Whilst being the front desk executive at CDH, I supported the then head of admin at the human resource session. I helped when it comes to report writing, minutes, taking minutes during staff meetings, basically any kind of ad hoc task that came, I was willing to support. I helped during the period of recruiting the internal auditor at the time for the organization, and that helped me to learn the processes, basically receiving applications, sifting through, shortlisting, and all of that. For somebody who was working as a receptionist, let's call it that way, front desk executive, that's a lovely name for a receptionist. I could have just decided to, be there, receive mails, take messages, receive phone calls, make phone calls, pass them through, and that's basically it. That would have meant, honoring the roles and responsibilities of my portfolio. But I realized that there was an opportunity to grow and learn from that. So I made sure that I took every opportunity that came my way, not just to learn, but to also share my knowledge and what I have in terms of competencies. Before long, I was made the secretary to the trustees of the Provident Fund for that organization, and on it went. I worked for a CDH for about 2 years and then saw an opportunity with the US Embassy Accra where they were looking for a telephone operator. Now, my mom worked as a telephonist for over 30 years, and the advert actually came to her office. But then she said, well, some of the qualifications that they were looking for, computer knowledge and capability, skills in different aspects of technology, that she wasn't comfortable with. And so she said, well, my daughter is currently working as a front desk executive. All that a telephonist or a switchboard operator needs to know, she's actually handling it, and so she would qualify for the sort of opportunity. So she gave me the application letter. I went through it and then I applied. Long and short, I went for the interview, spoke about the things that I've been doing for the organization where I currently was working, sharing my knowledge, helping national service personnel, taking them through the onboarding process, basically familiarizing themselves with what they do. And that basically is part of the roles of a supervisor. Okay, aside that, I also was part of a volunteer organization, being part of the Airwise organization because my husband works with the Ghana Air Force. And at the time, I served as secretary to the then president, and we helped engage members. I went round periodically to share notices for members who attend meetings, motivating and just encouraging them to show up. And within that particular tenure where I was serving as the secretary for the Airwise organization, we had the opportunity to make a presentation to the children's ward at the 37 military hospital. And so during the interview, some of these questions came up in terms of what are you able to do? What are you capable of doing? What are some of the unique projects you've handled? And what did you do? What are some of the things you're able to do with supervision and without supervision? Simply narrating all the things that I have been doing for both the organization and then my volunteer experience. The panel thought that not only did I qualify to be given the position as the telephonist, but they actually made me the supervisor. They gave me the supervisory role, and then the next person in line during that interview was given the telephonist role that was actually advertised. So in all of this, I'm trying to let you all understand that whatever it is that you desire to achieve, whatever it is that you desire to do, working towards your dream, working towards your aspiration, working towards your goals, you must understand that in your present moment and where you find yourself, it is a learning opportunity for you. So the question is, are you identifying these learning opportunities? Are you identifying these unique opportunities for you to add value to yourself so that when you go into another level, you are able to bring value to the table? Now, when I got into the US Embassy, where I worked for 3 years plus, I realized that I was working within both the international cultural setting as well as the Ghanaian cultural setting. I was very young, and almost everyone in the department where I had to supervise was basically older than me. And when you're looking at cultural diversity and you're looking at cultural expectations as well, you know how it is with Ghanaians. Sometimes some people feel you're a small girl. Who are you to come and tell me what to do? I know what I have to do. But you realize that what was the norm or what was being done was actually not facilitating productivity within the unit. So what did I have to do as a leader? I needed to ensure that gradually I helped the team to understand what our job role was, our responsibilities, how we can get things done efficiently and effectively. And in all of that, it took a while. It took a while to actually let people understand the importance of putting systems in place so that not only is it helping with accountability, not only is it helping with tracking your work and what you're doing, but when it is required and it's needed, there is a reference of what you have done. And these are things that people gradually need to understand, especially in the workplace. And I am happy to note that during that period, it was actually a learning process for me, a learning opportunity for me. I needed to enhance my interpersonal communication skills so that I can communicate to them at a level that made them understand, and then also help me to understand them, so that together we're able to work as a team. And as a team, we were able to come out with what is known as the cell phone inventory system, okay, where in managing the organization's cell phone distribution, we're able to take stock, we're able to assign it to people, where the system together with the IT department, we're able to have the system put in place where notifications are sent out when somebody is issued with a cell phone, and then notifications are received if there's a fault and it needed to be reported to the cell phone company, and all of those things. And if I hadn't persevered and then learned to understand where my team was coming from, and then help them to also understand where I'm coming from in terms of how our joint efforts would help us meet our goals and work efficiently, it would have been chaotic. The manual system of just noting things in books, where people would have either put in a wrong serial number or probably ignored even completing the books, and it was difficult to track who has the cell phone, who has that battery, etc. Now you realize that the system that was put in place actually helped us to work more efficiently. It brought some, I'll say, more respect to the department. People realized that the switchboard was operating differently. We were operating more professionally. Okay, we had to encourage everyone to go online, take advantage of the online courses that the organization had provided, and by doing so, it showed that we were willing to learn new things and actually apply the new things that we're learning. And when I got there, from feedback that I got from a few people that were working before, for several years before I got in there, the switchboard had never even had the opportunity to travel abroad to one of our training centers in Washington to take any course. But I'm glad to say that whilst there, I was able to give the reason and the need for the switchboard department, not just to also help them understand what is actually expected of them in managing new aspects of their operations, but then to also boost their morale and make them feel valued, especially being the front or the fronts, service operators, or the first point of call when people from the external try to call and reach the embassy or any other staff in the embassy. And this was done. And afterwards, I'm happy to hear that even after I left, there were more opportunities for more switchboard operators to travel outside and participate in some of the trainings that were held outside the country. Now, all I'm saying is that wherever you find yourself, you need to keep learning, add value to yourself, let that value be seen, and be confident enough in what you are achieving, and let it show forth, so that not just management but the rest of the staff are able to identify with the progress that is being made. Okay, and the more you continue to add value to yourself, the more you continue to improve upon yourself, the more you continue to work on, I would not say challenging or more difficult projects, and you break through, it gives you an inner confidence to know that you can tackle even more. So all I'm saying is that if you want to achieve your goals, don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for the average. Don't be in a workplace, or don't work in your own volunteer organization and just be comfortable with the status quo, or be comfortable with just delivering on the bare minimum. Always look to achieving higher heights, greater heights. A lot of people would hear me talking about scaling higher heights. It is so important because, and I keep telling you, my inner source is from my God. We are meant to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ever think or dream of. And that is the kind of potential that our Creator has embedded in each and every one of us. So if you're working at the barest minimum, you're not challenging yourself to do more, then you're not opening yourself up to more opportunities to actually bring out your fullest potential. Okay, still talking about my work experience and the progression that I've made, and how that has helped me in terms of coaching and mentoring people, helping me to understand different faces of the society and different industries and from different backgrounds, and be able to use that in helping people to break through and to scale in their own unique areas. Whilst at the US Embassy, before then I had already gone to Alliance Française to learn the French language. So I have proficiency, working knowledge, conversational knowledge in the French language. But I realized that at the embassy, although there were a few occasions I had to speak, or my colleagues got calls from francophones that needed more understanding, or somebody that could understand them and then also explain issues to them, I realized that the system there was not allowing us to actually continue to improve on the language or learning the language and using it in our day-to-day work activities. And for those of you who have learned any language, you know that being in a space where you have the opportunity to use the language practically is so key. Otherwise, you lose it. So through one of my Toastmasters meetings, I got the opportunity to meet some one of the management team members of another organization, and just by my proactive nature in sharing information that they required and just guiding them through a few steps, they felt, look, there is an opportunity in our organization, and I feel you're capable and you'll be a right fit. So there's not going to be any strings attached. If you qualify, then our HR will contact you. And that was how I was able to apply, go through the 2 or 3 interview processes, and then I got to the British American Tobacco to become the team coordinator, the Ghana team coordinator. Now, being Ghana team coordinator, I had to support the West African market, the other teams that we work with. I was helping to manage the day-to-day activities of the office in terms of ensuring that we have electricity functioning, the generators working, we had water running, and ensuring that staff canteen was also intact. So dealing with restaurants and ensuring that we're having our meals on time, because it was an in-house catering service. And aside that, I also handled procurement. So I got exposed to SAP and also handled the purchase orders, vendor master, adding on new contractors, etc. So these were other skills and competencies that I gained, and I made sure that I learned on the go and I applied these new skills that I was learning. And when there was a new system that was introduced across the organization when it came to travel, I was made the go-to person for the Ghana sector. Not only was I supporting the Ghana team when it comes to their travel, but also supporting other West African staff members who needed to come into Ghana but had 1 or 2 challenges trying to put in their travel requests from their end. So you realize that all of these broadened my scope again. When I got in there, there was the need to also revamp their record keeping system in terms of the storage and just getting the archives sorted. It was a major project, quite a huge challenge, but we were able to work on that as well, and it ended up fantastically. You can go into the records room, retrieve whatever information you're looking for easily. Okay, now I'm letting you get a gist of how we progress through life, how working on challenging yourself and basically working at it consciously, telling yourself things are possible. You have the opportunity to bring solution into that situation and to overcome it. Somebody would think about it and say, how does that relate to me growing my business? How does that relate to me making more money? One thing you must understand is, for you to grow your business, make more money, it's important that you're bringing value to people. How do you bring value to people? Is by first adding value to yourself. Is by first having some qualities that enable you to bring value to somebody else. It is by solving the problem of society. It's by identifying a challenge out there and thinking through it and finding a solution. People buy solutions. People buy convenience. People buy the ease, the comfort that you're able to deliver to them. So if that comfort, if that answer, if that solution is in a product or in a service, then you would bring value to them, and they would be more than happy to pay for that value if you're giving them that quality standard that they deserve. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is trying to tell you that you want to set new goals for yourself. You want to work towards higher goals. You must first dig deep into your past, dig into your experiences, and ask yourself, what am I adding on to myself? What am I projecting to the world? What am I projecting to the people around me, such that they are able to identify my competencies in an area and call me to come and be the one that is giving them that solution? That is the only way you get to work on more of your goals. Looking at a few of the expectations that some of you had, you wanted to improve on your public speaking skills, you wanted to improve on your networking, you wanted to enhance your business profile. It all boils down to, what do you have? You cannot give what you do not have. So it's so important that you start working on yourself first, adding value to yourself, looking within you, what are the skills, the competencies, the qualities, the knowledge that you have. What is it that you need to add on? Is it a new skill you need to learn? Is it a new course you need to take? Is it a new group you need to find yourself in so that iron sharpens iron? What are you doing to yourself so that you would have in order to give? I am going to leave you with this note. First, write under this comment box in the group, tell me about yourself. I have just spoken to you about my professional background, my career background, how that has shaped my journey thus far. Okay? And I said thus far because there'll be more to share. So I want you, especially those who want to build on your public speaking skills. Public speaking is not just standing in front of a group of people and talking. It's about telling your story. It's about sharing your story. It's about communicating a certain message out there that grabs the audience's attention so that they focus on you to get that message. And I want to see how you are able to do that. In this comment box, you're supposed to tell us about yourself by talking through all the different aspects of your past that has shaped your journey thus far, what it has done in terms of new skills, competencies, and value it has added onto you, so that we will look at it and see how that can project you into the coming future. So I want you to challenge yourself. Don't just type it out. Send us a video. Send us a video. I'm doing this with my phone right here in the hall. In the dining area. It is not a fancy production. I'm letting you know that you need to think big, dream big, but start small. That is why I'm showing you through practice. You don't need to go into a studio and get a camera or a production team to set up before you're able to tell your story this way. You don't need to always have a whole lot of adornment and be in a special jacket and a special suit before you're able to communicate with your audience. You need to be your authentic self sometimes. And most times that is what sells. Authenticity sells. The future is about being authentic, because there are 1,001 people doing the same thing you are thinking of doing. There are 1,001 people, millions in the world, who are doing the things that you are doing. But people will go to the one that is giving them genuine, authentic, and real talk. Genuine, authentic, and real product. Genuine, authentic, and real service. Okay? In the coming future, we're hearing a lot about AI. artificial intelligence. We're hearing a lot about machines taking over things. Now, when people are looking out for what is not robotic, what is not just being done by machines, they will need that human connection, that human aspect, the authentic self. So share your video, tell us about yourself, and let's get to day 3 soon. So this is the day 2 task. Tell us about yourself in a video and post it right here under this comment. I'll make sure to come back live at lunchtime so that we're able to talk through a few of the things that you've shared from the day 1 aspect. But today's task, the day 2 task, is for you to introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, tell us about your past, your present, so we can help you project into your future. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.